to an ULU coffee break. We have Roz Warren. She's a library humorist. She's the author of Our Bodies, Our Shelves, a collection of library humor. She will be reading from her work and talk about humor as a way to cope and communicate in libraries. Thanks, Roz. We're really excited to have you here. Take it away.
Thank you very much for inviting me to join you. Anybody that has worked in a library has at some point said, I could write a book about this place. And I actually did. I wrote a book called Our Bodies, Our Shelves. And what this is a collection of humorous stories about library work. Humor often comes from conflict and challenge and working with challenging people in a challenging environment. A lot of people think that library work is just a breeze, that we just sit around all the time reading books and chatting about great literature, and you know if you work in a library that although it's a marvelous job, that's not what it's all about. And I have found that as a humor writer, approaching things from the standpoint of, can I find the levity in this situation? Can I find the fun? Can I find the joke? Often makes it easy to cope when stuff gets stressful. You can use humor as both a coping mechanism, as a way to communicate with other people. A lot of the times it makes things easier and lighter and just makes the job go quicker. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is when people come up to the circ desk. I work at the circ desk at a suburban public library. They'll come up to the circ desk and they'll say, I have to pay a library fine. And I'll say, great, we can really use the money. That often makes them laugh. Sometimes it at least will make them smile. Because that's not the response they expected, and also because it's upbeat and positive, and it turns something that they had anticipated would be kind of a grim, bleak, oh dear, you know, oh, I'm guilty of returning this late kind of thing into yippee, hurrah, you're giving us money. So it kind of turns something that would otherwise be not a whole lot of fun into something that is entertaining for them, and they do usually at least crack a smile, and sometimes they will actually laugh. You've probably had the impulse yourself when somebody calls you up and says, I'm calling to see if the library has a book. Everyone, I think, has probably at some point had the impulse to go, yeah, we do have a book. In fact, we've got lots of books. I'm not saying you should do that every time, but I've occasionally come back with that, and they're usually entertained. They usually find it amusing, and that sort of lightens up the transaction and makes it go quicker and more easily. I have a coworker. Everybody does a different version of this. You've got to do what you're comfortable doing. I'm not a big joke cracker, but if I can say something that's funny, I will do it. I have a coworker who on Halloween always comes to work with a Groucho Marx outfit. She's got the eyebrows and the big glasses and the cigar and the mustache. So to see this 70-year-old librarian dressed as Groucho Marx, people come in all day and smile. So I guess what I'm saying is, to the extent that you can find something funny and amusing to do, it helps the job go along. It helps people. It just lightens things up, and there's no real downside to that. And if you are looking, as a humor writer, I'm always looking to see what I can get out of the situation that's funny or amusing, how I can frame it to make it funny or amusing. If you start to look at the job like that, you will find that things will jump out at you, and you will find these things. Another example has to do with dealing with toxic patrons. Toxic patrons and challenging patrons are something we've all got to deal with. If you can, one of the best ways to deal with them is you have to deal with them when they come in. You have to be nice and respectful to them, even if they're being awful to you. But the minute they leave the library, you can make fun of them behind their backs, and you can tell one of your coworkers, you'll never believe what I just did. You'll never believe what this person just pulled on me. We've all done that. I took it one step further. I created something called Public Library Bingo. And you probably can't read all of the little boxes, but I took all the many of the annoying things that patrons do and made them into a bingo game. So each of the squares have things like patron watching DVD without earbuds, banana in the book drop, patron demands a new library card just as the library closes, a mom yells at her kid in the quiet reading room, getting moldy book donations. it's just a way of turning something that you have to cope with into something that makes people laugh. I posted this on the Huffington. Actually, I first posted it on a website called Humor Outcasts, and it went viral. It was posted in library break rooms all over the country. I got a lot of tweets and emails from people saying, "Thanks, this was fun. This turned something kind of crappy into something wonderful." So you can turn challenging situations into slightly more wonderful situations if you're motivated to do that. I'll give you another example. As a humor writer, something happened to me once that I found incredibly distressing, and I ended up turning it into a humor piece, which was a way for me to work through what was a very difficult and challenging situation. And I'm going to read that to you right now if I can find it. It's called Bad Librarian. This is just a humor piece I made out of a tough situation for me. I work at the circulation desk of a suburban public library. I recently handed a patron's library card back to her after scanning it, but I lost my grip and I ended up throwing it at her instead. "I'm so sorry," I said. "I didn't mean to do that." "Yes, you did," she said. At first, I thought she was just joking around, but she was dead serious. She really believed that I'd deliberately thrown the card at her. She lit into me, promised to write an angry letter to my boss, and then she stormed out. I was flabbergasted and I was shaken. So I logged on to my favorite librarian Facebook Hangout, and I asked my fellow librarians, "What's the weirdest thing a patron has ever accused you of doing?" And here are a few of the responses that I got. One patron accused me of being out to get her when I told her that I couldn't use the computer because of her when I told her that she couldn't use the computer because of her outstanding library fines. She got extremely hostile and wanted to go outside and settle this. A patron accused me of trying to kill him telepathically because I was Catholic. I recently had a patron tell me that my face was wrong for working with children. I am often accused of breaking the internet. We have a patron who believes that I am stealing her information and sending it to Vladimir Putin. I've had several patrons accuse me of hiding tax forms. I was once accused of being in the Portuguese mob. I didn't even know that the Portuguese had a mob. I've been accused of being part of the Seth Meyers clan of the Sea Pirate Mafia. I wish I were joking. I was recently accused of being anti-Semitic. I'm a Jew. I've been accused of reading someone's thoughts and then stealing them. This is my favorite one. I had a little girl tell me that I wasn't real because I had the same name as her imaginary friend, and her mother had told her that imaginary friends aren't real. One of our patrons is convinced that I'm a CIA operative who was stalking her. When I asked a member of the cleaning staff to stop leaving her dentures sitting on my desk, she told me that I was in league with Satan. A patron once threatened to kill me when I told him that he had to move his cell phone out to the lobby. A patron who believes that the government is run by satanic reptilian vampires accused me of treason when I refused to help her overthrow them. Yesterday, a homeless man accused me of moving the toilet when I asked him to stop urinating on the floor. I've been told that my entire staff has racist body language. I was accused of making children turn gay because we have LGBT-supported books in our junior wing collection. A patron once demanded that I apologize to her son because my aura was too strong and it upset him. We have a patron who has accused me of having it in for him and adding fines to his card. A patron whose internet I blocked lodged a formal complaint against me for interfering with his basic human right to watch pornography. A patron once submitted a written formal complaint about me for smiling too much. He said it wasn't professional. It may be unprofessional for a librarian to smile, but by the time I was done reading these comments, I had a big grin on my face. The lesson? You just can't let the hotheads and the crazies get you down. Instead, you have to laugh. The important thing is that I wasn't alone. My fellow librarians always have my back. And just like that, I was back to loving my job. But the next time I'm wrongly accused by a paranoid patron, I just might enlist my pals in the Seth Meyers clan of the Sea Pirates Mafia to steal her information and send it to Vladimir Putin. And that's the end of the piece. I posted this on the Huffington Post, where I often blog about libraries and library work. And it struck a chord. It was shared and liked by thousands of different librarians, and many of whom added their own complaints, the things that the patrons had told them to the list. And I guess the point I'm making is that I was able to turn something that I found very distressing to me into something that helped me deal with my feelings, helped me lighten up, helped me get some perspective, got me back in touch with the community that I love, got me back in touch with the job that I love. And I guess the point of this, to the extent that it has a point, is to encourage you, if you can, to try to use humor to communicate and to cope in your own workplace. It'll make it easier for you. I went on vacation recently. It'll make it more fun. Never mind easy, it'll make it more fun. I went on vacation recently, and when I came back, my boss said, "I missed you," which is always a good thing. It's nice when your boss misses you when you're gone, and I am very good at my job. I've been doing it for 16 years. I work at the circ desk. I do processing. I'm very good at finding books that nobody else can find when they've gone astray. And I was wondering what part of that she missed, and she said, "When you were gone, we really missed your sense of humor," which is terrific. It's funny that what I'm valued for all that other stuff. I know I am, but what they truly missed was having me around to crack jokes, make fun of stuff, help them enjoy the job. So I guess if you can find the funny in your workplace, and sometimes I know it's a mammoth challenge, I would encourage you to do that. Again, my name is Roz Warren. My book is Our Bodies, Our Shelves, Library Humor. And thank you very, very much for joining me today.
Thanks, Ross. That was a great talk. We really appreciate it. A lot of good notes about using humor in the workplace. And you know, those everybody's got those stories, but we all love hearing them. Thank you so much for your time today, Roz, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We'll have another coffee break coming up soon. We hope that you'll join us then. Thank you.